All right. Everything should be set up. Okay, we are live and got an absolute barn burner of a Thursday night football game with the Rams going against the Las Vegas Raiders today. Baker Mayfield potentially playing in this game. Let's get to the fantasy questions because I'm sure all of you are so excited to watch this game tonight. But first question we do have in here is from Andrew F81. He says ETN or Swift full PPR. I do believe I have Swift actually higher in my rankings this week. We saw the usage that we wanted to see this past week. Obviously, that receiving role that he got this past week compared to previous weeks, right up there with what we expected from Swift coming into the season. That matchup against Minnesota over a 50-point over under. So, yeah, I think I'm going to have to lean Swift, although ETN seems like the quote unquote safer play because of recent trends. Watson, Carr, or Huntley in a 6-point passing touchdown league. I will side with Deshaun Watson here, but man, after what we saw last week, I am a little bit nervous that he does get back on track. But at the end of the day, here, he's still really good talent. Really open matchup this week against Cincinnati. We do expect Cincinnati to put up points on the other end. So I do think this is the bounce back, but I'm going to have him as a low range quarterback one, high range quarterback two, because of the risk at hand there. Full PPR, Sky Moore or Terrace Marshall. By the way, yuck of a situation. I'll lean Sky, but god damn, that's tough. I just don't think Terrace is good. And I mean, realistically, Sky has his own battle with actually getting some usage, but maybe he's electric, he's explosive, maybe he houses one, but neither of those are top 50 level options. Full PPR, Mostert, Gallup, or Deontay Johnson. Give me Raheem Mostert there, Brock. We did see him actually lead this backfield in terms of opportunity share this past week over Jeff Wilson. Much more favorable matchup this week. Obviously, instead of going against San Francisco, goes against the LA Chargers this week, which we expect to be a high-scoring game on either end. So, yeah, I do think the Dolphins offense gets back on track. Raheem Mostert to get the role that we saw prior to the last couple of weeks, to be honest. Daniel Bellinger, Tyler Conklin, and David Njoku or Nova Fant in a full PPR. As long as he's healthy, I'm going with David Njoku. He is actually averaging 11 PPR points per game when he is healthy. Big if because we don't know exactly his full status coming off of that injury, but I mean, he is just a clear tier above all those guys, especially when he's on the field. If he's fully ready to go again, he's going to be basically a lock to be in my top 5 rankings every single week. Zay Jones or Mac Hollins. In a no PPR. I do like the game environment of the Jaguars game there, so I'll go with the Jaguars there because we do expect the Titans on the other end, as we know, are going to get Derrick Henry involved. But at the same time, if there's one way that you could beat the Titans defense, it's going to be through the pass. Obviously, we know that Christian Kirk is the main number one receiver there, but Zay Jones, for what it's worth, when he's been healthy, has been commanding targets on that team. So I will lean him. Rashad White or Traylon Burks rest of the season. I want Traylon Burks. As much as I like Rashad White, we did see that Leonard Fournette did have that bounce back in terms of usage coming off of that injury. Traylon Burks, we know when he's fully healthy, is a legit 20-plus target per route run type of player. Really started breaking out prior to that concussion. And it's yet to see. He may actually suit up this week. And if he does suit up and he's ready to roll again, like I have no qualms about putting him back into my top 24 on a week-to-week basis. Hit the like, smash the sub, and pound the bell. Yeah, if you guys, all 21 of you in here, if any of you are not subscribed, make sure you do so. And of course, 21 people in here, I want to see at least 21 likes. So make sure you guys go hit that like button. Cody says, how are we feeling about Dolch's dynasty outlook? Yeah, he's like a back end tight end one, I would say. I don't foresee them bringing in any comp and relative next couple drafts or so. So with Greg Dulcich, the ceiling is going to be a little bit limited because the athletic potential compared to like David Njoku or in a couple years, when Brock Bowers comes, he's not going to be that upper echelon top 3 to 5 tight end on a week-to-week basis. But I do think he can figure into that TJ Hawkins scenario where he may not be, the most athletic option, but he can earn targets. He's good down the seam, good, blocker, catches some touchdowns, especially when the offense gets better. I do foresee him kind of taking that type of route to dynasty relevance, if you will. Would you guys start Hollywood or ETN? Give me Travis Etienne there, Figs. Danny, need your help, bro. Choose one flex, non-PPR. Damian Pierce, Zonovan Knight, James Cook, or George Pickens. I would have easily gone with Pierce, but that Dallas D worries me. Much appreciated. Yeah, no problem. And actually, if I I would actually go with Donovan Knight here, assuming that Michael Carter's still banged up, not going to, attain that full workload. But if we're hearing reports that Michael Carter is expected to be fully back, I would actually lean James Cook over Dameon Pierce. I'm really, really worried about the Texans in this matchup. Yeah, the Cowboys are kind of memed on in the middle of the season for the fact that they quote unquote couldn't stop the run after that big game against the Packers, where both running backs look really good. Ever since that game, man, the Cowboys have been absolute locks in terms of being able to shut opposing rushing attacks down. With Dameon Pierce, we know he's not going to contribute a lot in the receiving game. We expect the Texans to be absolutely blown out in this game. 18-point spread currently for the Cowboys. And if we're looking at a running back that's going to get the early down, between the tackles type of work against a team that recently has been really good against opposing running backs in the ground game, isn't projected to score a ton of points and isn't projected to produce in the receiving game, a lot has to break right for Dameon Pierce to pay off as, anything higher than a low-end RB2 this week, in my opinion. Isaiah McKenzie, Devontae Smith, or Tyler Lockett. I would actually go with Tyler Lockett there, Mitchell. Corey Davis or Jerick McKinnon in half PPR. I will go with Corey Davis here. Jerick McKinnon, he's not bad, but realistically doesn't get any work on the ground. We know Corey Davis is just coming off a 10-target game. I do expect this Jets passing offense to really start, gaining some gaining some success down the stretch, if you will. So a lot of mumbled words, but basically Corey Davis, we expect the Jets passing attack with Mike White to be able to throw the ball more consistently than they were with Zach Wilson, and with Jerick McKinnon. Like, he's five carries, 4 carries. Like, we have to solely rely upon him getting 5-6 targets. And realistically, if we're only relying on a running back to get a receiving ceiling, just go with the wide receiver who produced at a 10-target clip this past week. Foster Moreau or Gerald Everett. Give me Gerald Everett there, Alfredo. Raiders or Patriots defense this week. I will go with the Patriots defense still. It's kind of tough. I mean, you want to go with the Raiders because of the matchup, sure, but at the end of the day, I just think that the Patriots are much more well coached, much better defense overall. So I will go with the Patriots defense over the Raiders. How are you feeling about LV or Steelers defense? I would also go with the Steelers defense. Expected to slate against Tyler Huntley this week with Lamar dealing with that knee issue. Home favorites, divisional game. Ravens are implied for like 17 points. I really think from a pure process standpoint that the Steelers defense is a really good play this week, so I will be going with them. Rashad White, Jamal Williams, or Kenneth Walker. Pick one. It would be Ken, but with the injury, does that change? With the injury, I mean, it's tough. If he suits up in this game, I think you have to go with Ken Walker. But if he doesn't suit up, I would go with Jamal Williams, the 1-yard touchdown merchant, some may call him. But in a matchup against Minnesota, like I mentioned earlier with Swift, we expect a ton of points to be scored on either end. So I would definitely favor him in that question. No questions for me. Just want to say your channel has been a godsend. I am in first place because of the channel. Much appreciated. Yeah, appreciate it, brother. It means a lot. Glad that you are in first place right now, and hopefully you can go out and get that championship ring or championship trophy, whatever your league basically gives you there. So big shout out there, Razan. In first place in standard league, half PPR, Huntley or Lawrence at quarterback, and Njoku or misclick. We're good. So for the first question, Lawrence or Huntley, I would go with Trevor Lawrence there at quarterback. And in terms of the other question, Njoku or Moreau, I would go with David Njoku pretty easily there, Corey. Do I start Baker in my Superflex with Fields on bye? Otherwise, it's Bellinger or Warren. Ugly either way. Yeah, in that situation, I would just go with Baker Mayfield. Those other guys, realistically, you can't really expect a lot of. I would rather take the quarterback, especially against, a weakish opposing defense, in my opinion, with the Raiders. Start Cardinals or Bills defense. Give me the Buffalo Bills there, Manny. Moreau, Hollywood or Singletary PPR. I would go with Hollywood Brown there, Nathan. I'm a little bit worried about Devin Singletary. Obviously, we saw the usage this past week dip off with James Cook taking that lead back type of role. James Cook was in higher leverage situations. James Cook had more targets. James Cook had more opportunities. So I do think he's going to start showing out as that legit running back one for the Bills down the stretch. Rookie running back, looking really talented, more efficient. I do think that James Cook is going to usurp Devin Singletary on that depth chart. And with Hollywood Brown, as long as he's healthy, he has been commanding targets. Even his first game back prior to their bye week, we saw him have a 6-46 line, led the team in targets. I do think that will continue this week. The only real worry that you would have would be the injury, but he already came back. He's already had a bye week. I do think he is fully healthy at this current juncture. Yo, Danny, what up? Choose one full PPR, Deontay, Judy, Burks, or Juju. If Treylon Burks plays, I will play Treylon Burks. I would actually order these. So the order I would have are Burks, Judy, Juju, and then Deontay Johnson. With Deontay Johnson, he has all the peripherals. He has everything I want. He's just not really playing well. And realistically, the Steelers have been horrendous at, scheming up some easy touches for the wide receivers for the most part. And Deshaun or Goff, thanks, man. Deshaun and Goff is very, very close for me. I actually have Goff one spot higher. So I'd go with Jared Goff again. I kind of said that the Detroit Lions offense has been really good in recent weeks. Really good to start the season as well. I think they kind of hit that midseason slump. They're back to the form that they were showing, especially with Amon St. Brown fully healthy. High over-under game, divisional rival. I do think that Jared Goff has a pretty safe, relatively safe range of outcomes in this game. Hill and Saquon's questionable thoughts. I heard with Hill, it was more so an illness, maintenance type of issue. Haven't really looked into it with Saquon, but I do think both are going to play at the end of the day. Both superstar talents, both really are really needed by their team. And yeah, I just don't see them missing this game. Kamara and Evans for Zeke and Andrews, or Kamara, Evans, and Hollywood for Kelsey. So Kamara and Evans for Zeke and Andrews. Nah. Kamara, Evans, and Hollywood for Kelsey. The Kelsey deal is relatively interesting if you have the depth. Like if you have like fully adequate depth, like you go 4 or 5 deep at your running back and wide receiver spots, and you've been struggling in streaming tight ends throughout the year, I don't mind that move actually at all. So the Zeke and Andrews one is fine, but I'm a little bit nervous exactly how the Ravens offense is going to look with Tyler Huntley at the helm. I just think the positional advantage that Kelsey gives you is just, it's tough to pass at this current point. So I would only do that right deal if you have the adequate running back wide receiver depth. Trust Mike Williams start this weekend. With Burks out, I've got Williams or Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Well, first of all, I don't think Mike Williams is going to play. So if he does play, I'll play him over MVS, but I don't think he's going to play. So that decision may be made for you pretty easily. Man, if Swift and Most are fully back, I'm back to being the championship favorite in one of my Superflex Dino leagues. Yeah, it looks like they are. So good luck. Go win that championship there, Brock. If Walker's out, who's to start in the Seattle backfield? DJ Dallas, Tony Jones, or Travis Homer. So I'd personally rank those options. Assuming DJ Dallas does play, I would have him first. After DJ Dallas, again, assuming he plays, I would go with Homer and Tony Jones. So DJ if he plays, Homer, Tony Jones. If he doesn't play, again, I would still favor Homer over Tony Jones. So nothing really changes there. Thanks, Danny. You're the man. Yeah, appreciate it there, Nate. Good luck in our listener league, by the way. You, Bush, a couple other Daddy Flex God, like a couple very, very strong teams there. So it will definitely be a gauntlet for those playoff matchups. Derek, Hunter Henry or Foster Moreau PPR. I'll lean with Foster Moreau, but I actually really do like the matchup for Hunter Henry in this game. But I do have Foster Moreau ranked higher there, Derek. Garrett Wilson or Godwin this week, half PPR, feeling like a big week from Garrett. I actually think they're back-to-back in my rankings. I have Garrett Wilson one spot higher there than Chris Godwin. So, yeah, give me Garrett over Chris Godwin there, Domain. I have Diggs, Adams, Allen, Hollywood, Evans, running back Walker, Kamara, Connor, Stevenson, Lat Murray, tight end Komet. Yeah, so if in your situation, let's be real, right? So Diggs, Adams, Keenan Allen are going to be your mainstays, assuming maybe, you pick up a couple guys, have some ancillary pieces after them to fill out your 4 or 5 spot. Walker, Connor, Stevenson, Latavius is more than enough running back depth. And then Cole Kmet, though he's been decent at times with Justin Fields at quarterback, the upgrade you get to Travis Kelce, a guy who's scoring 22 PPR points per game in non-premium leagues, I think I would pull the trigger on that there, Bryce. I think I would. Brock says Cam Akers 2 touchdown week speaking into existence. I actually do have Cam Akers, decently high. I have him as my RB26 this week. I really want to see the usage one more time before I put him back into the top 24. But he did take back the usage uptick that Kyren Williams showed a couple weeks ago. Kyren Williams being their lead back 2 weeks ago. Cam Akers really took that role this past week against Seattle, hoping to see him rebuild or build back off of that against the Raiders this week. Thank you, my boy. Anytime there, Bryce. Anytime. Nate says, Ray GQ said Anthony Richardson should be the 102 after Bijan this morning. As a Gators fans, I love it, but do you think there's some merit to this or not? My caveat here, if we're talking about Anthony Richardson, the top 10 to 15 pick, yes, he's the 102. You could make the argument with Bryce Young, 101, more value installation because he's not as risky, quote unquote, of an asset. But if you're looking for that pure upside, if he gets drafted, I mean, we're talking about Anthony Richardson. If he goes top 15, you're talking about the Colts, you're talking about the Lions, you're talking about the Panthers, you're talking about opportunities for him with that dual threat ability, with that huge arm, rocket arm that he has, with that mobility that he brings to the table. He is kind of like a worse prospect version of what Trey Lance kind of represented. Obviously, Trey Lance had the better production, but on the flip side, NFL evaluators might actually prefer Anthony Richardson due to the fact that he did in the SEC. So with Anthony Richardson, again, arm talent, mobility, huge size, like, yeah, if he gets draft capital, if the NFL is sold on him, then I will be sold on him. And as a result, heck, like Bijan's going to be the 101, but I would say that they would be closer to like a tier than they would the rest of the field if Anthony Richardson were to get the draft capital that I expect. Why do Mike Williams not play this weekend? He was listed. So, okay, so he was a full participant. My fault then. I actually hadn't kept track on him. Yeah, if he plays, then all for it there, Aggie. Jalen Warren or Jordan Mason. Man, I'll go with Mason. He's the clear 2 on that San Francisco team. So I do think that I would go with Jordan Mason there. Jalen Warren, he's fine. Nice role behind Najee Harris, but like realistically, if I'm going to get a part-time role, I'm just going to take one of the better offense. I'm drafting AR 102 if he goes top 10. Yeah, I know. I would agree with you there, Domain. Sunshine, Trevor Lawrence, or Deshaun? Thanks. Who do I have higher? I believe I actually do have Trevor Lawrence higher. Yeah, I have Trevor Lawrence higher than Deshaun Watson this week. So, Jacob, I would go with Sunshine himself. I'm going to hopefully have an Akers team advance in best ball, and his advance rate is going to be so low that he may be key to advancing further. Yeah, I agree. Like, the thing with him is his advance rate is going to be absolute piss. He was terrible this year. He was a top 4-round draft pick. Like, if you make it to the playoff in best ball with him on your team and he just starts going off, he is going to be a huge leverage piece moving forward. So, yeah, I agree with you. Josh Allen went top 10. Richardson should go top 10 too. Yeah, I mean, Josh Allen went top 10. Similar stats, similar traits. Only Richardson did it in the SEC. So, yeah, I would agree with you. He's a Colt. Yeah, I could see him being a Colt. That'd be a good fit. You kind of mentioned multiple times that they were really in on Justin Fields when he was in the draft, but unfortunately, Mr. Frank Reich wanted his guy with big old Carson Wentz. So, big pain for you there, because I'm just imagining Justin Fields in a Colts uniform, and I'm sorry to do this to you because the imagery is going to be in your head, but God, y'all would be a fucking unit with a guy like Justin Fields right now. Starting Njoku, Evan Ingram, or Greg Dulcich. So I would rank those options with David Njoku number 1, Greg Dulcich number 2, and then Evan Ingram as a close 3 there. Yes, sir. Yo. Zay Jones or Mike Williams. Sorry if I already asked, just got in. Yeah, if Mike Williams plays, I'm going to go with Mike Williams. Again, it was mentioned before, I believe, who was it? Aggie. Aggie said he was a full participant in practice. So if he does play, which, I mean, if he was a full participant, he should play, I would go with Mike Williams there. Yes, sir. Patiently waiting for Bijan to declare. Yeah, he's going to declare. Like, it would be the biggest bag fumble. Okay, listen, right? I don't know the NIL contracts that these players are getting given, but at the same time, you know you're going to be a first-round pick. You know you're going to be getting, what, $5-7+ million per year in your rookie contract. You get to the NFL sooner. I don't see him staying back. So much risk going in, especially at the running back position where touches are counted, age is counted. These teams are starting to think more analytically where they're going to think like us fantasy guys, right? Where we're looking at a true, third-year declare versus a fourth-year declare at the most volatile position with running back. Like, yeah, no, I can't see him staying back. Just like Anthony Richardson and JT run on the same team and see who can stop. Yeah, could you imagine some little RPO action with those guys? That'd be fun. Started off 2-5, but hit a 6-game win streak, and now I'm in the playoffs. Thanks for the advice. Anytime there, Andrew. Glad to see that you're on that big win streak there. Thanks. Anytime there, yes, sir. Domain, Christian Watson's getting great target share, but I feel like he can do even more. Yeah, Christian Watson's been one of my sneaky surprises. I mean, sneaky relative to the fact that I just didn't think he was that great, but I mean, he's proved me wrong. He looks good. Really special deep threat, scoring touchdowns on an alarming rate. But people are just going to point straight to the touchdowns and say, oh, he's Gabe Davis. Well, no, his 20+ targets per route run, 20+ target share since he came back. Like, yeah, he is the full package right now. So I'll see if he can keep it up. But for now, I mean, we got to value him appropriately. The dream we had of J.K. Dobbins and Lamar on the same team can be reached with JT Air 15 together. Yeah, that would be that'd be really fun there, Brock. Foreman or Akers this week? I would go with Cam Akers there, Juan. Corey says, I've had several quarterbacks and tight ends in that standard league. My wide receivers are Waddle, Lamb, Chase, 7th in points, still pulled out of. Hey, you know what that is? That is toughness. That is grit. You know, you are a gritty manager. You know, offense wins games, defense wins championships. All jokes aside, though, at the end of the day, like, you're winning games. You're chilling. Best Center says, hey, man, 20 minutes to decide, but this week is a must win for me, and my running back depth is atrocious. I need a running back too. I got Fournette or Cam Akers. Let me check. They are relatively close for me, but I do have Leonard Fournette higher this week. He kind of got that full workload back, that majority share that he was showing prior to the injury. So I would go with Leonard Fournette, but keep in mind when doing that, it is going to be pretty volatile because Rachaad White's looked like the better player. The only thing is, if Fournette's going to continue to get his workload, goal line touches, short yardage situations, I will still lean with him. Start Bills or Steelers defense this week. Man, that's pretty close. I will go with the Bills defense though. Both have good matchups. Obviously, the Jets for the Bills, and with the Steelers, we do have the Ravens without Lamar Jackson. But I just think the Bills are a better real life defense right now. AJ Brown, Waddle, Keenan, Godwin, start 3. So AJ Brown, Waddle, and Keenan would actually be my answer there. By the way, holy embarrassment of riches that you have legitimately for every week top 15-ish caliber wide receivers. Half PPR, we still holding Cup, locked in playoffs in week 15 bye. Thanks. I mean, if you could put him on the IR, or if you have a deep bench, you could stash him there, sure. But I just don't think he's going to play the rest of the season there, Mark. Brock W defense. Oh yeah, you know, offense wins games, defense wins championships. Let's go. Also, Danny, how was the Lakers game? Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I went. So basically, the Lakers were playing in Toronto last night. I ended up going to the game, took the GO train over. Yeah, I ended up finding out the morning of. So I bought the tickets on Saturday. I'm like, okay, maybe Anthony Davis sits. I knew he was dealing with the illness, but I expected at least LeBron to play. I find out yesterday morning that neither of them were going to play in that game. So already my mood's a little bit down, but either way, it's an experience going to a game, enjoying the atmosphere, enjoying the game itself. I mean, it's still professional basketball, so it's fun. But so we go to the game. Obviously, as you guys know, the Raptors won by 13. The spread actually closed at Raptors minus 12.5. So for those of you that bet on the Raptors, that covered by a half a point. For those of you that bet on the Lakers, missed out on half a point. But after the game, me and my friend were like, okay, yeah, let's go get some food, you know, enjoy. We're coming home from the game. We're going to take the GO train back to Hamilton. So we're like, fuck it, let's go get some food. So we go to get food, and I type on my phone like nearest restaurants. We pick a spot, like a pizza place, and we see that it was 15 minutes. We're like, okay, 15-minute walk. Train comes at 10:45, no problem. So we start walking, and we ended up realizing once we got there that it was not a 15-minute walk. It was a 15-minute drive. So by the time we got the food, we basically walked there and back. It took us over an hour, probably like an hour and 20 minutes or something like that. Obviously missed the 10:45 train, got to the 11:45 train at 11:39. So literally we almost had to stay in Toronto for an extra 2 hours because I misread my phone and it said a 15-minute drive, not a 15-minute walk. So yeah, I got my steps in. You know, it was a good workout, if you will. But yeah, we were drained. We got to the train. We were exhausted. We just watched the game. Our legs were tired because we were walking for so fucking long. Probably I don't even know how long we walked, but it was a far distance. I'll tell you that. Is Mixon going to play? He is expected to play in this game. By the way, sorry for going on a tangent about the Lakers, but I had to give my story, you know. Is Mixon going to play? He apparently is expected to play in this game. Obviously, we know Cleveland, very, very volatile run defense, very, very good matchup for opposing running back. So if he does play, him or Piron, I think are going to be locked in top 10 running backs pending the situation there. Rachaad White or Deontay Foreman? Let me check this one. Have I adjusted Foreman in my rankings yet? Yeah, I do. Okay, so I have Deontay Foreman ranked higher there. One. Victim of load management. Yeah, it's fucking pain. Y'all were low-key booking it to make a 15-minute drive that quickly walking. Yeah, dude, it was pretty crazy. Like, again, keep in mind, Toronto, there was some traffic, but we probably walked like at least like 3.5K, maybe 4K, like something like that. Either way, we were exhausted, man. Yo, any news on Walker? Should I play White against San Francisco over him? Well, I mean, if Walker plays, you're going to play him, but you're going to have that information by the time you make that decision on Sunday. So if Walker plays, you play him. If not, then yeah, go with Rashad White there. Do you know the times actually that both of them play? I mean, you're going to know more by Sunday, but Rashad White plays at 4:25, and Kenneth Walker plays at 4:25. Yeah, they play at the same time, so you'll know by then. You're chilling there, Yezer. Well, yeah. I mean, we got to do something. I mean, I'll talk about the Lakers if it gets our mind off of this Thursday night football matchup where basically 3 total players are relevant. Like we're talking about Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, and like maybe Cam Akers. Like it's gonna be pretty gross. I'm not gonna lie. What's up with this Njoku injury? I know it's been like ankle and knee issues, I guess. I don't know. If he plays, I'm still playing him because he is that level of a talent. He's been that level of a difference maker when he's been on the field. But yeah, it's kind of sketch that they're not really releasing more information on that. I need him really healthy come playoff time. Yeah, he's been an absolute godsend. For those of you that didn't get Travis Kelce, if you got David Njoku, like in my main home league, I got a David Njoku and Gerald Everett combo at my tight end. One that I drafted, one that I picked up off of waivers. Both of them, well, the one that I drafted was like round 14. The other one was, of course, off waivers. Been fucking running my tight end position all year because I missed out on Kelce. So big shout out there. You want to trade me Lamb? You're going to have to pay up there, Corey. What you offering? I'd be willing to if it's for the right price. You know how I am. Go Celtics. Yeah, Evan, your Celtics are looking really, really good right now, man. Big shout out. You guys probably looking like the best team in the league right now. Like realistically, you could maybe argue the Bucks, but I think you guys probably clear the Bucks at this point. And then you guys obviously just smoked the Suns last night, which were the top team in the West. So yeah, fuck, Celtics look like a wagon right now, especially with the way Tatum's been playing. He's probably arguably the MVP right now. Thoughts on the Niners situation? In terms of their running back situation, it's Christian McCaffrey. He's high on running back 1. With Elijah Mitchell out, he is going to be a pure bell cow running back. I don't mind Jordan Mason as well because he's clearly the running back 2 in that situation. Pure handcuff for that team. So I don't mind Jordan Mason, in a back end wide or running back 36 to 45 type of area. But Christian McCaffrey's a top 3 weekly running back is what I've learned. Can't wait to watch contract year Josh Jacobs show up. Contract year Jacobs is a menace. Yeah, that's like the main exciting piece along with Devontae Adams in this game. Agreed. What is CD worth in Dino? About 2 firsts? Yeah, I'd say about 2 firsts is fair. I think at this point he's my clear wide receiver 3 in Dynasty. But if you want to argue 3 to 5, sure, with him, AJ Brown, and Jalen Waddle, I won't bat an eye. But he is clearly a tier 2 wide receiver asset in Dynasty. Assuming those picks are first aren't like top 3 locks. Yeah, no, I would agree with you there, Brock. Eagles D or Ravens D. So the Eagles go up against the New York Giants. Ravens obviously going up against the Steelers. I would go with the Eagles D there. 7-point road favorites in that game. Everything can go crazy in a divisional game, but I mean, you could say the same thing with the Ravens, whereas the Ravens are 2.5-point road underdogs. So I'll just side with the points there. Side with the point differential of the matchups. But yeah, going back, like all the good matchups, quote unquote, of this week are what 425 this week. Like realistically, you got obviously the Bucks going up against the Buccaneers, which is a good matchup. Seattle against Carolina is interesting at least. Is there any real like pure barn burner? Oh, the Sunday night football matchup, obviously with Miami versus LA, but there are no real like pure barn burners of matchups aside from that game this week. CD is wide receiver 3, but I'm not sure Garrett Wilson won't have a thing to say about that by the end of the year. Yeah, I mean, especially from an age standpoint, 2 years younger, or 2 or 1 year younger, I don't know, but either way, younger, looking really good. I would still slightly prefer CD, but I definitely can say that he will be up there. Vegas defense a safe start. I mean, safe, no, because I don't think they're a very good defense, but the matchup, yes. Like if you want to play the matchup, you don't have, one of the top 5 to 8 defenses. I think they're a good stream this week. I'll say that. Best thing about this week is that the Colts aren't on TV. Oh God, well, you guys you guys are on bye week. I remember that. What game are you going to be focusing on mainly there, Brock, with the Colts on the bye week? Let me know there. It's weird. It's weird not having Bush on, but brother is actually on a date, so wish him luck there. 806. Yeah, we're chilling anyways. So Let's go. You guys have any start sits? Let's fire them up. The 1 week that I can get to all the questions, we got no questions. Let's go. Fire them. One time that everybody's not waiting for their questions, Send something. I don't have good picks. Okay, I'll look into it after the live stream there, Corey. Do the Lions have a shot at the playoffs? I've actually been saying this under my breath, but I do think that they do, because realistically, a lot of the games that they have left are a bunch of toss-ups. They're 5-17, 4-1 in their last 5 games. Favored this, like if they beat Minnesota this week, I think I can safely say that they are well within the mix. If they lose, obviously they're out of playoff contention, but if they win, I think they can. And I mean, you guys are going to hear a lot about it going on Sunday, but I do think the Lions are going to win this game. And a lot of the sharps are actually on that as well. The sharps are betting 95% of the money on Detroit, despite them being a 2.5 favorite versus a 10-2 win team, or 10-win team, 10-2 record team. So Detroit's been looking really good. We can move to as high as pick 6 this week without even playing. So I want those 3 teams ahead of us to win. Yeah. So what teams would you need to win there? I haven't really looked into it. James Cook or Pacheco, full PPR. I will go with James Cook there, smooth. Pretty close, but I like the receiving work that James Cook brings, especially after that 6-target game this past week. Goff or Watson this week? I have Goff a little bit higher there, yes, sir. So would you take Pats or Bengals defense over the Raiders? So let me just make sure. I know the Bengals play the Browns. I actually do like the Bengals defense a good amount there, especially because I do expect the Browns to continue a little bit slow until Watson gets fully back in rhythm. In terms of the Patriots, it's pretty close. Obviously, going up against the Cardinals on Monday Night Football. I don't mind that for them, but I will actually lean with the Bengals there. They were actually one of my top streamer defenses on this week's video. I want the Jaguars. I want the Panthers, Jags, and Cardinals to win. Other than that, I'm watching for fantasy. Yeah, so the Panthers obviously going up against what? Let me just take a look. So Carolina goes against Seattle. Yep. Jaguars go up against Tennessee, and the Cardinals go against the Patriots. So I definitely think that could happen. Which kicker to start this week? Gano, Jake Elliott, or Sanders, Jason Sanders. I will go with Graham Gano there, Manny. Mac Hollins or Deontay, full PPR. I would go with Deontay Johnson there, smooth. I'll be watching the Jets-Bills. My best ball team has Diggs, Cook, Allen, and Garrett Wilson, plus the game will be fun. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's the only real exciting game, if you will, of the 1 p.m. slate. Stands maybe, Giants, Eagles, which I do think the Eagles are probably going to bludgeon them. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting at least. Drop Mike White or Tyler Huntley to activate Mike Will. I'm starting Cousins. I would drop if you're already starting Cousins, just drop Mike White. At least with Huntley, you have a little bit more upside with this rushing ability. I have two mid to late seconds in another dyno looking to draft quarterback and rookie draft. Who may fall to me? I'm not drafting a quarterback with the 2nd round pick, brother. Assuming, okay, if this is a 1 quarterback league, sure, because if it's a super flex, none of the good ones are going to fall to you. But if it's a 1 quarterback league and you can get like Bryce Young, I don't mind that. But realistically, if it's a super flex, like maybe you take a flyer on a guy like KJ Jefferson, like if he commits. Other than that, like day 2, 3 quarterbacks are really hit or miss. Like you'll find the odd Cousins, Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, but a lot of times, 90-95% of the time, you're going to find a player that's out of the NFL within 2 years. So either way, it's to 8:10. Got about 5 minutes until kickoff, so we will we'll wait for some more questions. 1 quarterback. So clearly, I would want Bryce Young in a 1 quarterback, or of course, if Anthony Richardson gets the draft capital, he would be the guy I want. So if Anthony Richardson's the answer, because if he goes top 10, top 15. He should be available to your pick, and he has true difference-making upside in a 1 quarterback league where hitting on a safe quarterback isn't as valuable, but hitting on one that could potentially ruin leagues is very valuable. So, yeah, I would go with Anthony Richardson there. Good quarterback falls that far in Superflex and your league mates are trolling. Yeah, I agree there, Brock. Start 2, Zay Jones, Pickens, Burks, or Hollins. Full PPR, I have Higgins 2. I would go with Pickens and Burks, assuming Burks plays. If Burks does not play, I'll slightly lean Pickens and Zay Jones there. Anthony Richardson has to be that guy in the 1 quarterback, 1 QB is all about upside. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, Brock, you get it. Like you can find random, statue quarterbacks that can be quarterback 17 in any given. Like I'm sure, like Mac Jones probably roster in 1 quarterback leagues, but realistically, like does Mac Jones offer you anything other than someone you think is going to start for 10 years? Like, if you put him in your lineup in a one quarterback league, you're not winning the quarterback spot because there are going to be 11 other managers with a better quarterback option than Mac Jones. However, in a super flex, when you're talking about 24 quarterbacks being started, that's when scarcity builds up. But realistically, in a one quarterback league, you're not worried about safe projection. You're not worried about, oh, who's going to hang on to their job longer? No, you are carried about that raw point production that your quarterback can give you. So, a guy like Lamar Jackson, a guy like Jalen Hurts, those are the clear difference makers. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, those are clear difference makers in one quarterback league. But after them, like after that top 10 or so area where you know they're franchise level players, you're just getting players that can run the ball. You're getting players that can contribute with their legs. Because realistically, if we're talking about a similar capped range of outcomes from a passing perspective, give me the one that can run the ball, 7 times for 45 yards or 10 times for 56 yards. You know what I mean? Give me that rushing production. Like if you can give me somebody that adds 4, 5, 6 plus points per game with their legs on a given week, that's going to give you a lot of value. Mac Jones is my tank commander on my one quarterback tanking team. Yeah, there you go. Where's Bush? We prefer the latter anyways. I mean, I'm sure you're going to know this, B-Mac, but Bushy Boy's, I believe, having a nice little datey poo with his girl. So big shout out there. I don't know. What a loud Bush, eh? Fuck with you. Do you expect Goddard to be a flex play during the playoffs when he returns? I mean, you're not going to play him in the flex. You're going to play him a tight end, but it's very volatile. I want to see how he returns from that injury and if he's actually even, himself, if he's getting that route participation. Because realistically, he could be healthy, but if he's not running routes, then he's not going to be too valuable for either user. Bush is a ladies' man, so he's yeah, I know me. I'm such a degenerate. I'm sitting at my desk. Have a fucking vape beside me, just muck some dinner. Guy's at a nice fancy rest, or I don't know what he's doing. Maybe prep dinner. I don't know, but either way, he's enjoying himself. I love it. I mean, I would too if I was in that position. Mucking mitt. Don't kill me, be the boys. Start 2 in standard night. Akers, James Cook, Debo, or Evans. One running back, or one wide receiver, one running back. If you do pick a wide receiver, I don't see the rest of that comment, but leave the follow up there, Ray. So in terms of standard, the one running back that I would play, Zonovan Knight, if Michael Carter's not out, would be my preferred running back. But if Zonovan Knight or if Michael Carter does return, I would go with James Cook. And obviously, because they're in the same matchup, you're going to have more information on that prior to the kickoff. In terms of the wide receiver, assuming he's healthy, I'm going to go with Deebo Samuel. I don't like Evans in that matchup. I think San Francisco is quite possibly the best defense in football right now, so I just don't really want anything to do with Evans. And basically, how that Bucs offense has looked is pretty atrocious. Not gonna lie. W. Bush, yes sir. Already have Kelsey. Should I not worry about Goddard then? Oh, if you have Kelsey, you're chilling there, yes sir. You are chilling. Travis Kelsey is quite literally the wide receiver 3 in PPR, and he's a tight end. He is scoring more points per game than I was going to say Travis Kelsey. He's scoring more points per game than former teammate Tyreek Hill. Let that sink in. As good as Tyreek Hill's been this year, Travis Kelsey is averaging a higher points per game right now. Zay or Deontay? I would go with Deontay Johnson still, but I don't feel good about Deontay Johnson, to be honest. How do you feel about Akers? I like him, fringe top 25-ish level running back this week. He would be like a lot higher if I knew that he was going to be that pure workhorse running back like we saw this past week. I am a little bit worried because 2 weeks ago, Kyren Williams got the majority of the workload, and then last week, obviously, it was Akers. So I'm not exactly sure if that's based on game flow, because obviously 2 weeks ago, the Rams were getting blown out by KC. Kyren played a lot of those receiving down, so maybe that was inflicted by it. Versus last week, Seattle didn't really get off to a lead. Rams were still in the game. Obviously, Akers 2 rushing touchdowns. I don't know if we can expect another 23-point performance from this abysmal Rams offense. So I'm a little bit worried that Kyron's going to get mixed in more in a more potential blowout type of script. That's why I was talking about Goddard as a flex. Got you. Okay. Well, I mean, it depends. I think he could be, a solid player, 10 to 12 points per game type of range. Maybe even a little bit higher, but realistically, he's still a risky asset. Yeah, he's still a risky asset. You should probably still have better receivers. Like even like a Donovan Peoples-Jones is probably comparable from a pure non-premium flex type of standpoint. But I don't know if he's healthy. I don't mind it, but it's too early to tell how healthy he's going to be in that stretch. I know I'm a degenerate when I'm going to be yelling for Cam Akers to score touchdowns for his 3-8 Rams team. Fantasy has ruined me. I'll give you a deal, right? The Rams, Cam Akers scores a couple touchdowns, looks pretty good, but we need that Rams pick to be as high as possible. So those Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell led Detroit Lions, can get a top 3 pick. So hoping the Rams finish 3-14 and Dan Campbell prospers, because he's the guy. He's a tone setter himself. So big shout out to big man Dan Campbell. By the way, I'm not sure if you guys have watched the Hard Knocks on it, but it's really fun just watching like how engaged that team is and how much that they're willing to put on the line for a guy like Dan Campbell. And like that's the one thing about coaching that people don't really talk about. I'm sure if everybody in here has played football, they'll understand like the level of camaraderie, the level of respect that you have for your coaching staff, or the people that show you respect back, is ultimately how you motivate people. And it shows. I mean, the Lions are a fucking 5-17 right now. If you were to look that roster up and down, you would say that they're probably more so where the Rams are, a 3-8 team, fighting for that top 5 pick. But the Lions look closer to a playoff team this year, the 7 seed, up there with like Washington, than they do picking as a top 5 team. They look like a team that wants to try and wants to win and really has that engraved in their culture. So mad ups to Dan Campbell. As soon as he gets a difference-making quarterback, that team is going to be probably the divisional winner. I mean, I'll put my reputation on the line to say if the Lions get a significant quarterback upgrade, they're going to be my pick for the division next year. I'll tell you guys that right now. Lions can replace Jared Goff with a Jared Goff. Yeah, God. Man, hopefully not. Give them Lamar. I would take Lamar over there. Lions offensive personnel is low-key really good. Such a good spot for a rookie quarterback. I do agree there. I think that there's a lot of value to be had with a rookie landing spot going to the Detroit Lions. Obviously, you got Jameson Williams and Amon St. Brown, DeAndre Swift out of the backfield, a really, really good offensive line. Like if you were to build an infrastructure for a young quarterback, it would be what the Detroit Lions are doing right now. Bears going to trade down and build a nice roster around field too. Yeah, they can get a nice stud wide receiver 1 after Darnell, or before Darnell Mooney, but have Darnell Mooney coming back as that ancillary piece. Got some building blocks. You need to really rehaul that team, but having a second overall pick and trading down is going to help that a lot. Devontae Filthy Catch. Yeah, speaking of, I'll answer the next comments in the next couple minutes or so, end this off at 8:20. So if you have any last second questions, I'll answer them now, but I want to watch the game. I'm not going to lie. I want to go watch that Rams-Raiders game. Been on for about 45 minutes for you guys solo. So if you have any questions, leave them in the next couple of minutes. Otherwise, I will be signing off at 8:20. So as a Lions fan, this year is giving me a little bit of hope. Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing with the Lions, too. Them looking this good, despite not having that full roster set right now, really speaks. Like if you're a fan of this team, you have to love the direction that they're going, the culture that they're already building right now. Just imagine when they keep adding talent to that roster. Like it's going to be so much fun to watch. So yeah, I'm excited for you in your own right as well. Lions are really, really on the upward trend, if you will. So yeah, either way, it's about to be 8:20. It's probably going to be, 20 seconds. So I'll just end it now. Take it easy, guys. Good luck in your matchups. If you guys need that win to clinch your playoff spot, need that win to clinch your bye week, whatever you need to happen this week to secure your spot in the fantasy football layoffs, as we know, once you're in the dance, it's time to prance. Let's go. Take it easy, y'all.